Okay, imagine this. A startup, just soaring, right? Passes $1 billion valuation. It's got backing from huge names like Microsoft. And the promise that creating complex apps could be, well, as simple as ordering pizza, all supposedly powered by this revolutionary AI. Sounds amazing, the kind of thing VCs dream about, yeah?
Oh, absolutely. That was the picture they painted, a really compelling one. But what if that picture, wasn't quite accurate? What if the core tech wasn't really cutting edge AI, but something much more human?
Right. That's the story unfolding with builder.ai, isn't it? It feels like a huge cautionary tale about hype and maybe deception in tech.
Exactly. It's becoming this stark lesson.
Okay, let's really get into this deep dive. We're looking at a bunch of articles, reports, trying to sort of peel back the layers on how builder.ai flew so high and then just collapsed.
Yeah. And at its peak, the vision they sold was incredibly strong. This AI assistant, they called her Natasha.
Natasha, right. Pitched as your co-founder, your builder. Democratizing digital innovation, basically. Speed, convenience, empowerment for anyone.
That was the promise. Build your app, no tech skills needed, effortless, AI-driven.
But the reality, as reports are showing now, quite different.
Very different. Reports suggest Natasha was, well, largely a front, a facade. Most of the actual heavy lifting, the app development, it wasn't an autonomous AI. It was a big team, maybe 700 engineers, mostly based in India.
Wow, 700 people. So human labor presented as machine intelligence.
Pretty much. An outsourcing operation, really, just disguised.
And it's kind of wild that, based on some sources, this wasn't like a brand new discovery. Some former employees might have known about this significant human role way back, maybe 2019.
Yeah, there are indications of that. Even a complaint filed by a former exec alleging that they really overstated the AI capabilities, saying they hadn't actually built the platform as advertised.
Relying on humans for, what, like 80% of the work claimed to be AI?
That's what the complaint alleged, yeah. If that's accurate, it points to a deliberate misrepresentation over years.
And they attracted huge investment based on that AI pitch. But then the money problems started.
Right, the financial cracks appeared. They defaulted on a pretty big loan, $50 million, and that led a creditor, Loyola Credit, to take, well, pretty drastic action in May 2025. They seized $37 million straight from builder.ai's accounts.
$37 million seized. That's serious. That cripples a company, surely.
Oh, absolutely. It signals severe distress. The creditor's basically trying to grab whatever they can before it's gone.
And alongside that, internal audits.
Yeah.
Apparently, they showed a very different financial picture than what was maybe presented outside.
A vastly different picture. We're talking internal revenue forecasts for 2024 being slashed from like $220 million down to just $55 million.
Wait, 220 down to 55? That's not just missing a target.
No, not at all. Think about that gap. It's huge. A 300% difference. That suggests something's fundamentally wrong with forecasting or sales reporting, or maybe something worse.
And then there are these other accusations, this round-tripping thing.
Yes, that's a specific kind of alleged financial manipulation. Reports suggest builder.ai might have engaged in a scheme with another company, Verse Innovation, for a few years, 2021 to 2024.
How does that work, round-tripping?
Basically, the accusation is they simulated sales, exchanged money back and forth for similar amounts, maybe without real goods or services changing hands. It makes the revenue figures look much bigger, much healthier than they actually are, based on genuine customer deals. It's like creating fake sales on paper.
And Verse Innovation, what do they say?
They've publicly denied any misconduct, but acknowledged they're cooperating with investigations, builder.ai's response. Less detailed in the reports we've seen so far.
Okay, so all of this, the loan default, the seizure, the slashed forecasts, the round-tripping allegations, it's now reportedly under federal investigation in the U.S.
Seems so. Sources say investigators are asking for lots of financial documents, client lists. So yeah, this is way beyond a typical startup stumble. It's into alleged fraud territory.
Which impacts investors, obviously, but also the customers.
Exactly. And that's a crucial part of this. Beyond the financials, this is a massive failure of customer experience, CX. They didn't just mislead investors, allegedly. They built their whole customer relationship on a kind of technological illusion.
So how did that internal stuff, the tech illusion, actually affect the people using the service? What was their experience like?
Oh, think about it. You sign up expecting this super fast, AI-driven process because that's what Natasha promised, right? Instant, intelligent app building.
Yeah, like magic.
But if the work is mostly going through human engineers, you get normal development timelines. You get potential delays, back and forth communication, things that happen with human project management, not instant AI.
So a total mismatch between expectation and reality.
Precisely, a huge disconnect. Customers expected one thing based on all the marketing and got something else entirely. That's a fundamental breach of the CX promise. It just tears apart any trust. The whole brand was built on that AI magic idea, and it crumbled when reality hit.
So the problem wasn't necessarily having humans involved. Lots of services use humans. It was the lack of transparency.
Absolutely. That seems to be the key. Customers can often handle the truth, you know? If they'd marketed it as, say, AI-enhanced, human-crafted, maybe emphasizing the blend of tech and expert oversight, that might have been fine.
A hybrid model.
Exactly. Plenty of services use AI to help humans, but presenting a human service as an autonomous AI, that's deception, and CX, customer experience, it's built on honesty. Setting the right expectations, being clear about how you deliver value, lying about the how just breaks everything.
And you can almost see a direct line from that external breach of trust back to the internal issues, the alleged financial problems.
Definitely. It really highlights how internal governance or lack thereof impacts the customer. Dishonesty inside a company rarely stays inside. It seeps out. When you see things like allegedly those inflated revenue numbers or round tripping, it signals a breakdown in controls, in integrity.
And if the internal integrity is broken, delivering a consistent, trustworthy customer experience becomes, nearly impossible.
Pretty much. The customer experience is like the final output of everything inside the company. Decisions, processes, culture, weak governance where truth doesn't seem to matter. That leads directly to poor CX accountability. You just can't hide that forever.
So looking bigger picture.
Yeah.
What does this whole builder.ai situation mean for the tech industry, especially with all the current AI excitement?
It feels like a big moment of reckoning, maybe.
Yeah.
Builder.ai is becoming this prime example of AI washing.
AI washing.
Yeah, where companies, exaggerate their AI capabilities. They talk up the AI magic to pull in investors or customers. But behind the curtain, it's often manual work, old software, or just lots of humans hidden behind an AI label.
So what should other companies in the AI space be thinking about now?
It really forces some tough questions, doesn't it? Are they truly using AI how they claim? Are they upfront about where humans fit in? Is their value based on what they can do now or just what they hope to do later? Because customers and investors too, I think, are getting smarter about this. Vague buzzwords aren't cutting it anymore. People want to know what's actually real.
You definitely see that skepticism online, right?
Yeah.
Especially in developer communities talking about builder.ai. Comparisons to Theranos or Nikola come up.
They do. And there's that cynical meme that's been going around, unfortunately, sometimes summarized as AI, actually Indian, pointing to the large teams in places like India doing the work behind supposed AI platforms. It's a crude simplification, obviously, and ignores complex global workforces, but it reflects this real frustration about the lack of transparency, the feeling that human work is being presented dishonestly as AI.
And it feeds that whole debate. Is this just one really bad case of alleged fraud amplified by AI hype? Or is it, a sign of a bigger AI bubble maybe starting to leak?
It could be a bit of both. I mean, not every AI company is committing fraud, obviously. But the sheer hype around AI, it can create an environment where maybe due diligence gets a bit relaxed. Investors get that FOMO, the fear of missing out.
Right, wanting to get in on the next big thing.
Exactly. And maybe they don't scrutinize the tech or the business model as deeply as they should. Developers often point out, AI is improving productivity. It's a great tool, but replacing skilled humans for complex stuff, we're not quite there yet.
And there's that whole other discussion about AI and developer jobs long term, even if productivity goes up.
Yeah, that's a complex topic about labor markets. But the builder.ai case specifically feels like it's about the alleged deception and how the work got done, the integrity of what they were selling.
It really hammers home the point, doesn't it? The builder.ai story is this, powerful, very expensive reminder. In this digital world, truth. Maybe truth is the most important technology for customer experience.
You can have all the funding, the big investors, the slickest interface. But if the core experience, what you tell customers and investors, is built on an illusion, on deception about what's really going on, that foundation is just incredibly weak. And the fall, when it happens, tends to be fast and, pretty spectacular.
So as this AI wave keeps rolling, here's something for you, the listener, to really think about. How do you navigate this? Whether you're a customer looking at a service, an employee hearing promises, or maybe even an investor thinking about where to put money. How can you tell the difference between genuine innovation and just AI washing? How do you demand the transparency needed to actually build trust?
It's a critical question. Requires us all to be, well, a bit more discerning, I think.
This has been a deep dive from Lou Podcast to Philippe. If you're finding these discussions valuable, please help us reach 1,000 subscribers.